Alright, YouTube, welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be talking about the difference between Army Active Duty and Army Reserve. Just so you know which might be best for you, or if you have any questions or concerns, I'm going to go ahead and clear everything up about it. So let's get into it. Alright, now before we get into the differences as far as between Army Active Duty and Army Reserve, I just want to go ahead and talk about the similarities, because there are a lot of similarities. Main things is like a lot of the benefits are going to be the same, so your GI Bill, dental, medical, to a certain extent. As far as dental, medical, if you're Army Active Duty, you don't really have to worry about anything, but if you are reserved, you get those benefits at a discounted price for your family, so it's not going to be super expensive, but you will have a monthly payment. And I think you also have a monthly payment in the Army Active Duty as far as like life insurance and stuff like that, but that's offered to the reservists as well. And then another thing is for Army Reserve and Active Duty, they both have to go to basic training, and they both have to do AIT. Because when you enlist into the military, you have to become a soldier first, and then obviously whatever you come into the military for, like the MOS, you have to do that training. So both Army Reserve and Active Duty have to do that. Alright, now the main difference, number one, is going to be the hours that you work between these two. So they are very similar, but like I said, the main difference is going to be one is part-time and one is going to be full-time. So if you're Army Active Duty, which means you are full-time, you're under contract for 3 to 4 years or whatever, but you're going to be working Monday through Friday, sometimes on Saturday and Sunday. Army Active Duty, you work a ton. There's fields that you go to that are way more frequent when you're in the Active Duty. There could be multiple fields each year. But as far as the reserve side, you're working part-time, so you only work 1 week in a month through the whole year, and then you only have one field exercise training in that year. When you're active duty, you don't know how much you're going to work. It could be, you could work 7 days a week when you're active duty, so yeah, one's full-time and then one's part-time. Alright, now the main difference, number two, is going to be the amount of money that you make. When you're active duty Army, you are working a lot more, so they're going to pay you a lot more based on your rank. And as far as the reserve side, you get paid part-time, so you get paid for those 2 days that you work. And then but on the reserve side, you also get paid that full-time when you're working in that like 2-week field or whatever, how long the fields are for reserves. Could be, usually they're 14 days for fields. So when you work those 14 days, you get paid for those days as if you were full-time. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's the second main difference. Alright, now the third difference is going to be your duty station. So as far as Army Active Duty, you don't get to choose your duty station, at least your first duty station, based on a ton of things that I've already explained in a whole video on how, when you find out, how you find out, why you go to certain duty stations, and I'll link that video in one of these corners above. So if you want to check out, when do you find out your first duty station, why do you go to certain duty stations, why, only certain people go to certain duty stations, I have all of that above. But like I said, Army Active Duty, they do not get to choose their duty station. They could be sent anywhere, whether that's in the country or overseas to Korea, Japan, Italy, anywhere, right? There's Army duty stations. As far as Army Reserves, you can actually choose your duty station, and you can actually change your duty station pretty often, but depending on where you live or where you want to live. So usually people in the Army Reserves, they go back home after basic training or after AIT. They shouldn't be going home after basic training, or they didn't make it, but after AIT they usually go back home, and their unit's actually going to be in their area that's local to them. And the good thing about Army Reservists is that, let's say you live in Washington, right, and you're doing reserves over there, you can actually, if you plan on moving, you do not have to stay in Washington for the remainder of your contract, because you both sign contracts, right? Similar to to active duty, you both have contracts you have to fulfill. But with these ones, you can change your duty station just by letting your unit know, and the people at the reservist or at the reserves, letting them know you want to move to, let's say, Florida, and you can go to a unit over there if there's availability, which usually there's always going to be availability. So that's like the three main differences as far as, Army active duty and Army reserved. And that's going to be pretty much it for this video. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. Drop any comments, questions, concerns you have about the military, or anything you want to know. I also have a lot of videos that I've posted about the military that are pretty much like the most common questions that I had that I wish I knew, that I'm telling people that are watching these kind of videos or that are preparing to go to the military. So go ahead and check those videos out as well. And if you made it to this end, thank you so much for watching. It means a lot. And subscribe if you like this kind of content. I make mostly military content, but definitely will be getting into fitness soon, and vlogs and stuff like that. So without further ado, thank you for watching. Peace.